Welcome to another Blackflix and Chill recap. This movie summary is about the Creed sequel in the Rocky franchise called Creed 2, released in 2018. Sit back and relax as you are about to watch a Blackflix movie recap that shows themes of betrayal and revenge.
It's time, kid.
The movie begins with a retired Russian boxer, Ivan Drago, preparing his son, Viktor, for a boxing match in Ukraine. The match doesn't last long because Viktor ruthlessly knocks out his opponent. A show promoter, Buddy Marcel, is watching the fight from the stands. Shortly after, Adonis Creed fights Danny Wheeler not only for the heavyweight championship belt, but also for Adonis card, which he lost to Wheeler a few years ago in a bet. The fight goes back and forth. Daniel ends his signature punch on Adonis, but he remains standing. After a few punches, Adonis knocks out Danny and wins the fight. Adonis camp and the crowd go wild.
Adonis Creed.
Later on, while Adonis' girlfriend Bianca is taking a shower, Adonis shows Rocky Balboa the engagement ring he got her and asks for tips. Rocky tells Adonis to listen to his heart and speak from there. After Bianca comes out, Adonis gives her a speech. Unfortunately, she doesn't hear the speech because she's listening to music. However, when she sees him on his knee with the ring, she gets scared. She asks him if he knows what he's doing. Adonis assures her of his love for her and pops the question. She says yes. Buddy meets up with Viktor and his dad after a match and tells them it's time to make a move they've been planning. Bianca tells Adonis she wants them to move back to Los Angeles so she can expand the market for her music. Rocky visits his late wife's grave and tells her he wants to patch things up with their son, Bobby, but doesn't know how. Ivan and Viktor arrive in Philadelphia. While on a date, Adonis and Bianca watch on TV a press conference of Viktor and his camp challenging Adonis for the heavyweight championship. Buddy says it's a fight everyone wants to watch and dares Adonis to take up the challenge if he isn't scared of history repeating itself. That history is the death of Apollo Creed, which happened in a boxing match against Ivan Drago in 1985. After Apollo's death, Rocky, who was his trainer, was heavily criticized for not throwing in the towel beforehand. Few months after, Rocky faced Ivan in a match in Russia and defeated him. Adonis is boiling with rage, and Bianca tries to calm him down. Coincidentally, Ivan shows up at Rocky's restaurant. He says he has been a nobody in Russia ever since he lost their fight and blames Rocky for ruining his life and making his wife leave him. He promises Rocky that Viktor will make Adonis pay. Adonis works out at the gym to release some steam. Rocky shows up and talks to him. He tells Adonis that he doesn't have to take the challenge because, for one thing, Viktor is inexperienced. He says Apollo wanted to face Drago that night and blames himself for not stopping the match. Adonis cools off, and they do some light training. Adonis watches a video clip of his father's death in the ring. He attends Bianca's concert and is joined by Buddy. Buddy compliments Bianca's voice. He apologizes to Adonis for what he said on TV and explains he was only trying to entertain the crowd. Adonis accuses Buddy of only looking after his pocket, but Buddy says the only way people will pay attention to the fight is if there's a storyline. He boldly says that even Apollo understood that. Adonis gets mad and asks Buddy to leave. Adonis pays Rocky a visit that night. He tells him he has no choice but to take that fight and defend his family honor. Rocky tells Adonis that Apollo said the same thing before he got killed in the ring and put his wife, Mary Ann, through hell. Rocky insists that Adonis shouldn't go looking for revenge.
He died right here in my hand.
Adonis tells Rocky that he did the exact same thing, but Rocky argues that what he did was different. He explains that on the night of Apollo's death, he should have been the one to face Ivan and not Apollo. He says that when he finally got to face Ivan and avenge Apollo, a part of him died that night, and he doesn't wish Adonis to go through the same experience. Rocky explains that unlike Adonis, Viktor has nothing to lose, and that makes him very dangerous. Adonis feels that Rocky doesn't think he can win the fight, so he tells Rocky he would go ahead with or without him. Rocky tells Adonis he's on his own and walks out. Adonis and Bianca move to Los Angeles and get a new home. They pay Mary Ann a visit. Mary Ann notices symptoms of pregnancy in Bianca and asks her how many weeks the pregnancy has been. Adonis and Bianca laugh it over at first, thinking it's a joke. They later take the test and it comes out positive. Bianca is scared and confused, but Adonis promises to give her love and support. Adonis tells his mom that he's accepted Viktor Drago's challenge. His mom says he's free to do what he wants, but she's not going to give her blessing, and she hopes he will be alive to see his child. Bianca tells Adonis she's worried their child will inherit her hearing loss. Adonis tells her everything will be fine. With Rocky out, Adonis begins training under Lil Duke, who also wants to use that fight to avenge his father, as he used to be Apollo's trainer. It's the face-off between Adonis and Viktor. "You look smaller than your father," Ivan says to Adonis. Adonis gets provoked and reacts immediately. A fight almost starts between him and Viktor, but for the intervention of Creed's crew. Rocky watches the fight between Adonis and Viktor at home. Adonis goes into the ring with an angry but confident mindset. At first, he does all the punching while Viktor blocks. Rocky observes Viktor baiting Adonis, but Adonis doesn't see it. He keeps on punching. Viktor then blocks a punch and delivers a heavy one to Adonis. Adonis launches a punch again. Viktor dodges it and punches to both his ribs. Viktor corners Adonis and punches him continuously while Adonis tries to block. Viktor wins the first round. Rocky is disappointed and has a "I told him this was a bad idea" look on his face. Lil Duke reminds Adonis of their game plan, while Ivan instructs Viktor to knock Adonis out in the second round. Viktor dominates the second round again. He sends 2 sharp punches to Adonis' rib. Adonis manages to get up and keep fighting. The bell rings before Viktor can knock Adonis out. Ivan provokes Viktor by telling him his mother left them because she thought they are losers. Meanwhile, Adonis is in a very bad shape, but refuses to let Lil Duke call off the fight. Rocky wishes that Adonis will throw in the towel. Hold up. What do you think is going to happen next? Is Adonis going to die? If he survives, will he be forced to retire? Is Bianca's baby going to grow up without a father? Will Viktor Drago eventually become the new heavyweight champion? You don't want to miss what happens next. Keep watching. Adonis goes in for the third round and is beaten by Viktor again. Viktor fakes a punch, and when Adonis raises his hands to block it, he hits his ribs again. Adonis goes down on one knee, and before the referee can hold Viktor off, he delivers an occult punch to Adonis. The referee immediately disqualifies Viktor and pronounces Adonis the winner. Adonis lays on the floor unconscious. He is rushed to the hospital and admitted. When he wakes up, Lil Duke updates him about the match result. Rocky pays Adonis a visit, but Adonis tells him to go back to Philly. On the day of his discharge, the press are outside waiting for Adonis. They ask him a lot of annoying questions as he walks out the door. Adonis gives Bianca cold treatment at home by keeping to himself. He comes around after a while. Meanwhile, Viktor issues another challenge to Adonis for a rematch. The Russian Boxing Federation invites Ivan and Viktor to a celebratory dinner. They give Viktor a pair of boxer shorts and ask him to win the belt during the rematch. Viktor's mom, who's now married to the chairman, walks in and congratulates him. Feeling betrayed and used, he excuses himself from the table. Ivan follows him. Viktor complains that those people really don't care about them and abandoned Ivan. Ivan says it was because he lost, and the only way Viktor can get their respect is if he wins the belt. Lil Duke informs Adonis that he's going to lose his title if he doesn't pick a fight soon. Mary Ann sets up a meeting between Rocky and Adonis. They talk things out and settle their differences. Adonis admits that the reason he took the fight was because he was scared of not meeting people's expectations. Rocky tells him it's going to take more than his regular fighting style to beat Viktor. Mary Ann calls Adonis and tells him Bianca's in labor. Rocky and Adonis rush to the hospital. Bianca gives birth to a baby girl who they name Amara. At the couple's request, the doctor runs an auditory test on Amara to find out if she has a hearing problem like her mom. The readings show Amara has a hearing loss. Rocky advises Adonis to focus more on loving Amara instead of pitying her. Adonis receives some flowers and a congratulatory note from Buddy. Adonis tells Bianca he wants to take that fight and he needs her support. Bianca tells him she doesn't want to lose him and that he went into the fight the first time without seeking her approval. Adonis apologizes and promises that he would come back alive. Bianca asks why he still wants to do the rematch, and Adonis says it's the best way to handle the situation. Bianca approves his decision.
It's not just us anymore, D.
Buddy sends word to Adonis through Lil Duke that the rematch must happen in Russia. Rocky gives Adonis permission to fight and tells him not to let the match reach a split decision because the Russian judges will obviously favor Viktor. Rocky has a surprise for Adonis. He takes him to a desert gym and introduces him to a way more intense training routine. He tells Adonis that if he wants to give out a lot of pain, he must be able to take it as well. Adonis is exposed to a whole new level of pain, punching raw tires, enduring punches from big boxers, getting hit repeatedly in the abs with a giant ball, jogging under the hot sun are some of the tough exercises Adonis performs. In time, he adapts. It's the D-Day, or should I say, D-Night. Adonis versus Viktor in Russia. Adonis is accompanied by Rocky and Bianca, who's singing his theme song, To the Ring. Adonis puts up a different performance. He offers a higher resistance to Viktor's blows and delivers better punches. The first round is a draw. Viktor manages to throw Adonis to the ground. He has an opportunity to knock him out like he did the first time, but controls himself to avoid another disqualification. Adonis gets up and Viktor totally dominates the second round and wins it. Adonis wins the third round. Viktor wins the fourth and fifth round. In the sixth round, not only does Adonis win it, it also makes Viktor bleed for the first time ever. Adonis wins the seventh round also. During the eighth round, Viktor commits a foul by holding Adonis' hand and punching his ribs twice. The referee pretends not to see, and Viktor wins that round and the ninth. During the break, Rocky warns Adonis that Viktor will keep targeting that rib and he has to be ready to take the pain. In the 10th round, Viktor hits the rib multiple times and hits Adonis with a knockout punch. Adonis is in a lot of pain. He looks at Bianca, who urges him to get up. With all his strength, Adonis stands up and fights. He beats Viktor to a pulp and delivers his own knockout punch. Viktor beats the coward and gets up. Adonis pounds him again and delivers another knockout punch. At this point, Viktor's mom, who has been in the stands watching the fight with her husband, leaves with him. Viktor gets up again. Seeing that his mom has abandoned him again and having nothing left to fight for, he loses the will to keep fighting. Adonis takes advantage and punches him continuously. Ivan is very familiar with the scene in front of his eyes. Viktor is in the same condition Apollo was before he killed him 30 years ago. Not wanting to lose his son, Ivan throws in the towel and Adonis is declared the winner. While he celebrates, Ivan consoles his son. The movie ends with Adonis and his family visiting his father's grave, and Rocky reuniting with his son, Robert, and his family. Creed 2 is about a boxer who overcomes the demons of his tragic past with the help of his family. One lesson to pick from this movie is that we don't always have to do things alone.
It wasn't just about me.
We need to learn to accept help sometimes. The movie stars Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, Sylvester Stallone, and Florian Martinu, and was directed by Steven Caple Jr. This is because the director for Creed 1, Ryan Coogler, was too busy working on the movie Black Panther. We did recap on that movie too. The link is in the description box. Thanks for watching. What was your best part of the movie? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe to our channel for more black movie recaps like this.